Paul the Apostle, also known as Saul of Tarsus, is one of the most influential figures in early Christianity and a key author of the New Testament. His life and teachings significantly shaped Christian theology, emphasizing faith in Jesus Christ as the path to salvation. Paul's journey from a persecutor of Christians to one of Christianity's most ardent apostles is a profound story of transformation, missionary zeal, and intellectual vigor. Below is a detailed biography and important facts about his life. Early life and background. Paul was born as Saul in Tarsus, a city in the Roman province of Cilicia, modern-day Turkey, around 5 AD. His family was Jewish, belonging to the tribe of Benjamin, and they held Roman citizenship, which afforded him certain legal privileges. Tarsus was a thriving city of trade and learning, and it is likely that Paul received a solid education in Greek culture, philosophy, and literature, in addition to his Jewish upbringing. His Jewish education, however, was paramount. Paul described himself as a Hebrew of Hebrews, Philippians 3 verse 5, indicating his strong identification with the Jewish people and their traditions. He was a Pharisee, part of a Jewish sect known for its strict observance of the law of Moses, and studied under the prominent Rabbi Gamaliel in Jerusalem. This intense training in Jewish law and scriptures deeply influenced his later theological ideas. Conversion to Christianity. One of the most dramatic events in Paul's life was his conversion to Christianity. Before his conversion, Paul was a zealous persecutor of early Christians. As a devout Pharisee, he viewed the followers of Jesus as a dangerous sect that threatened the Jewish way of life. He was present at the stoning of Stephen, the first Christian martyr, and actively participated in efforts to arrest and punish Christians. Paul's transformation occurred during a journey to Damascus, where he intended to arrest more Christians. On the road, he experienced a blinding vision of the resurrected Jesus, who asked him, "Saul, Saul, why do you persecute me?" Acts 9:4. Struck blind, Paul was led to Damascus, where after 3 days, a disciple named Ananias healed his sight. Paul was baptized and immediately began preaching about Jesus in the synagogues, declaring him to be the Son of God. This dramatic encounter with Christ marked a turning point in Paul's life. He abandoned his role as a persecutor of Christians and became a passionate advocate for the Christian faith. His new name, Paul, symbolized this transformation. Missionary journeys. After his conversion, Paul became one of the most important missionaries of early Christianity. He undertook at least 3 major missionary journeys across the Roman Empire, spreading the message of Jesus to both Jews and Gentiles. First missionary journey, 46 to 48 AD. Paul's first journey took him through Cyprus and into the region of Galatia, modern-day central Turkey. He traveled with Barnabas, and they established several Christian communities. This journey is notable for Paul's initial success in reaching Gentiles, a significant development in early Christianity, as it shifted the movement from a primarily Jewish sect to a broader, more inclusive religion. Second missionary journey, 49 to 52 AD. During this journey, Paul traveled through Asia Minor and into Europe, including Macedonia and Greece. In cities like Philippi, Thessalonica, Athens, and Corinth, Paul established churches and wrote some of his earliest letters, which would later become part of the New Testament. His time in Corinth was particularly significant, as he stayed there for 18 months, helping to establish one of the most important early Christian communities. Third missionary journey, 53 to 57 AD. Paul revisited many of the cities from his previous journeys, strengthening the churches he had founded. During this period, he spent significant time in Ephesus, a major center of early Christianity, where he preached for 2 years. Paul's time in Ephesus was marked by both success and opposition, as his message challenged the city's devotion to the goddess Artemis. Throughout his journeys, Paul faced numerous hardships, including imprisonment, shipwrecks, and opposition from both Jewish leaders and Roman authorities. Despite these difficulties, his letters reflect his unwavering commitment to spreading the message of Christ. Theology and teachings. Paul's influence on Christian theology is immense. His letters, or epistles, form a significant portion of the New Testament and contain some of the earliest and most profound interpretations of Jesus' life, death, and resurrection. Justification by faith. One of Paul's central theological themes is the idea of justification by faith. In letters like Romans and Galatians, Paul argues that salvation is not achieved through adherence to the Mosaic law, but through faith in Jesus Christ. This was a radical departure from traditional Jewish thought, which emphasized obedience to the law as the path to righteousness. Paul believed that Christ's death and resurrection offered a new way of being reconciled with God, one that was available to all, Jews and Gentiles alike. The body of Christ. Another key aspect of Paul's theology is his concept of the church as the body of Christ. He saw the Christian community as a unified body, with Christ as the head and believers as its various members. This metaphor, found in letters like 1 Corinthians, highlights the importance of unity and mutual support within the Christian community, despite differences in background or social status. Resurrection. Paul also emphasized the centrality of the resurrection in Christian belief. In his famous chapter on the resurrection in 1 Corinthians 15, he insists that the resurrection of Jesus is the cornerstone of the Christian faith. Without it, he argues, the faith is meaningless. Paul also taught that believers would share in this resurrection, receiving new, glorified bodies at the end of time. Letters and influence. Paul's letters, written to various Christian communities, form the foundation of much of Christian theology. These letters addressed practical issues facing early Christians, such as divisions within the church, questions about morality, and debates over the role of the Jewish law. Among his most famous letters are Romans, a theological treatise on salvation and the righteousness of God. 1 and 2 Corinthians, letters dealing with issues of church unity, morality, and the resurrection. Galatians, a defense of Paul's message of justification by faith. Ephesians, a letter about the unity of the church and the cosmic scope of Christ's salvation. Philippians, a letter filled with encouragement and joy, written during one of Paul's imprisonments. 1 and 2 Thessalonians, letters concerning the return of Christ and the Christian life in the meantime. Imprisonment and death. Paul's bold preaching often brought him into conflict with both Jewish authorities and Roman officials. He was imprisoned multiple times, including a significant period in Rome, where he awaited trial before the emperor. According to tradition, Paul was martyred in Rome around 64 to 67 AD during the reign of Emperor Nero. As a Roman citizen, Paul was likely beheaded rather than crucified. Legacy. Paul's influence on Christianity is immeasurable. His writings form the foundation of Christian theology, particularly concerning the nature of Christ, salvation, and the church. His letters have been studied and debated for centuries and continue to inspire Christians around the world. Paul's life is a testament to the transformative power of faith. From a zealous persecutor of Christians to one of its most ardent apostles, his story is a powerful example of redemption, grace, and the relentless pursuit of truth. Through his missionary journeys, theological insights, and letters, Paul helped shape the course of Christianity, making it a global faith open to all people, regardless of background or nationality. His teachings on grace, love, and the centrality of Jesus' resurrection continue to resonate through Christian thought and practice today. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe our channel